Hello designers and welcome back to another Affinity Designer tutorial. Today I'll be showing you shortcuts to speed up your workflow. I've added chapter markers in this video so you can skip around to the part you want to see the most. Okay, let's move forward together. Throughout this video I'll be presenting the keyboard shortcuts in two different styles like this. So if we're learning about how to do the keyboard shortcut for copy, there is the Mac shortcut and there is the Windows shortcut. Also, if both shortcuts are the same for Mac and Windows, it might look something like this. Also, sometimes I will just drag one of the keyboard shortcuts to the center and that will mean it's for both systems. Also, if you are skipping around the video and maybe you've seen some of the shortcuts and you know them and you want to know what I'm talking about, then in the top right hand corner, you'll see the category I am talking about. Okay, let's get on with it. Starting from the basics, we're going to be talking about the shortcuts for all of the tools. So all of your tools are on the left-hand side here, and there's a shortcut for each of them. So if you hover over, it says Move Tool V. V is the shortcut. So if you are in a different tool, you could just click on V on the keyboard, and now you've got the Move Tool. With the Move Tool, it's pretty obvious what it does. You click and you can move all of your items around like so. And they get highlighted in the Layers panel when you do that. Okay, if you're looking at the tools bar and you want to customize this slightly, I'll just quickly show you how to do that. Head on up to View and then go down to Customize Tools, and here are all the extra tools that aren't kind of showing. So you can click and drag these in to whatever order you want, and also number of columns. You can choose 2, 3, all the way up to 8 there. I've just got mine as one long column and that's fine. Okay, let's move on to the next tool. The keyboard shortcut for the pen tool is P, so go ahead and click on that and then you can start drawing whatever you'd like. If you want to know more about the pen tool and the node tool, I have a full tutorial from beginner to advanced. I'll leave the link in the description. Moving on to the next one. The shortcut for the node tool is A. So click on that. And now you can click on your drawn out wave and you can just click on any node and move it around. And you can also grab the handles and manipulate the shape to however you like. The shortcut for the corner tool is C. So click on that on your keyboard. And you can see it's highlighted there in the tools bar. And what you can do, click on an object and you can select one of the nodes, click and drag in, and it will kind of smooth off that corner. If you didn't want it to be smooth, go up to corner type and you can change the kind of corner it produces. Also, you can drag it over all of the nodes and click in. And again, you can cycle through. Once you're happy with that, you can click Bake Appearance and it will keep it like that and add the nodes to whatever changes you've made. If you want to see a full tutorial of this, go ahead and check it out. It's on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description. The contour tool shortcut is O on the keyboard, but before I use that, I'll just show you where I might use this tool. I really like it. Let's say this is a monitor and I wanted to make a screen. Go ahead and copy that. So Command C, Command V, that's good to copy and paste it the old school way. We'll get into more of those later on in the video, but let's just make it black. And let's say if I minimized it like this, you can see I can't get the same equal distance between the bezels. So if I just go back and I grab the contour tool, shortcut is O. I'm now in it, it's highlighted on the left-hand side. Just click and drag in and you can see equal distance on the bezels. You can make it a really modern one with thin bezels here. Once you're happy with that, Bake Appearance, and there it is. Also, you can use this on strokes. So here's a stroke here. I can just drag it out and it expands it like that. Click Bake Appearance and you're done. I've also made a YouTube tutorial all about this contour tool. I really love it. Go check that out. It's in the description. The pencil tool shortcut is N. So click on that. And I'm going to attempt to draw a cloud. Oh, that is not good. Sorry. I did draw the rest of it, I promise. The vector brush tool shortcut is B. Click on that. I've chosen my brush already. I'm going to finish off this word. Complete. The gradient fill tool shortcut for this one is G. And I'm just going to click and drag up like that. And I'm going to choose a color for the bottom piece. Something like that. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? The transparency tool, shortcut for this one is Y, and we'll just select this moon here. It's kind of moon in the clouds in the night sky. And I'll just click and drag out like this. So it's kind of semi-transparent. Everything down here will be transparent. And I'll just prove that by clicking and dragging it over these clouds. And I'll put it back in place. The rectangle, ellipse tool, and rounded rectangle all have the same shortcut, which is M. So I'm going to click on M here, and you can see it's highlighted on the left-hand side. If I click M again, it cycles through to the next one. and again to the rounded rectangle. So I could quickly draw a shape. There we go. I'll draw something and I'll just press M again. There we go, there's a circle, press M again, and now there's the rounded rectangle. The artistic text tool, for this one, the shortcut is T. If you click on that, you can see it's changed. And if you want to switch to the frame text tool, you just click T again, and it will cycle through. So let's drag it out and type something. There we go, we have our word. Now if I wanted to use the other one, the frame text tool, just click on escape to get out of that. And I will just click T again and click and drag out a box that we're going to type in. And then I'll just start typing something again. Also, if you want to add filler text in this box, just right click and go to Insert Filler Text. The color picker tool, the shortcut is I on the keyboard. But before we do that, I'm going to select an object here that I want to color in. I'm going to press I now. And now with this, I can head on over to the green leaf and click on it once, and it's changed our leaf. The view tool, the shortcut for this one is H on the keyboard, and you can see a hand appears. I might use this if I've zoomed in and I just want to click and drag around, see if I've made any mistakes. But generally I use my trackpad for this, and I just kind of use 2 fingers to move around and zoom in with my fingers by pinching. The zoom tool, shortcut for this one is Z or Z. Click on that and you'll see a magnifying glass open up. And if you just look down at the bottom here, you'll see it says some shortcuts that we can use. So I'm just going to go ahead and position it over here. And if you just click, 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 it just keeps zooming in further and further. And what's that? It's a pair of flip-flops or thongs, as you might say in Australia. Okay, so if we click on the Option key on Mac, you'll see for PC it will be something different there. And I just click out whilst holding that down. Also, what you can do is just drag right and it will zoom in, and drag left and it will zoom out. Also, if you just hold down Option and click and drag, you can drag a marquee over it and let go, and it will zoom into that marquee. Okay, we are in the edit category of shortcuts, and the first one I want to show you is undo. So let's say if I move this wheel of the skateboard out, if I want to put it back, I want to redo that step, I press Command Z and there it goes. If I want to redo my last action, I press Command, Shift and Z and it will go back. The shortcut for copy is Command C on a Mac. So let's just select an item and you can press Command C, and what that's done, it's copied it to the clipboard. And then if I press Command V to paste, you can see it has copied it down in the layers panel. If I just click and drag it out, you can see there is the duplicate. So down here to cut, what that will do, if I press Command X, that cuts it out. So it's actually on the clipboard right now. And if I click on Command V, it will paste it back in there. And the next one is Power Duplicate. And that one is really cool. I use it a lot. That is Command J. So let's select this one. And if I press Command J, and if I just move it across to the side, if I then press Command J again, it will duplicate the last action I took. So I could just keep pasting it like that. There are other ways of copying and pasting as well. So one of them might be clicking on a leaf and holding down Command or Control, I guess, on a PC and just dragging out, and you've got your duplicate like that. So looking at the first one, it says Paste FX. What does it mean by FX? Well, if I click on this shape, I have a couple of effects applied to this. So if I head down to Effects down here and click on that, Layer Effects, it's outer shadow and 3D has been applied to this shape. So what we want to do is press Command C to copy, and then head on over to this gray triangle and we'll press Control, Command and V, and you can see it's only copied over those layer effects. It hasn't copied over that color. So heading over to Paste Style. If I click on this one and press Command C, and let's do the shortcut, so that's Shift, Command and V. So you can see it's copied over not only the layer effects, but also the style. So it's got the stroke there and the gradient. And if you want to save this style, you can head on over to your Styles tab over here. Here's some of the default ones. And you can go ahead and add style from selection. So again, let's try that with this word here. It's got one kind of font here and a different kind of font down here. So let's press Command C on this one and click on the one we want to apply it to. And let's press Shift Command and V. You see it's applied all of that style over there. So the last one is paste inside. So what I'm going to do is I want to grab this one and press Command C. And I want to select the other shape now. And I'll press Option, Command and V. And you can't really see that anything's happened now, but if I just drag it out, you can see that inside of here is that shape. So if I go to the layers panel and I just double click, you can see over here, it's been pasted inside of this shape and you can still move it around. It's non-destructive. And I'll just press Command Z to go back a few steps. So we're back at the start, nothing's pasted inside of anything. So another way we could do this is press Command X. So if I press Command X, and that's to cut it, we can't see it anymore. Click on that and we'll press Option, Command and V, and it's pasted it inside of this shape. So that's where that cut and paste might come in handy with that one. So apparently this only works for Macs, but if it does work for Windows, let me know in the comments section. So start dictation. So the first thing I'm going to do is press T on my keyboard to get the text tool. And actually I'll press T again to cycle through to the text box. And I'll just click and drag out a box here because we're going to be typing something in here. Okay, so it says Control, Control. So I'll do that. And you can see my microphone is activated. Press return once you're done. And that works really well. So let's try that again, but this time I will click on escape to get out of that. And I'll press T. And I go back to my normal text tool. And I'll just type something out here and press Control, Control. See you later. Not sure why my accent changed then. All right, there we go. That worked really well. So the other thing you can do is you can add emojis and symbols. So Control and Command and Spacebar. So whilst it's still there, I'll press Control, Command, and I'll press Spacebar. Look at that. I've got some emojis now, so which one should I choose? This one here. Oh, that's actually quite good quality. It does pixelate a little bit when you zoom in, but that's good. And we are in the layer/object control category of our shortcuts tutorial. The first one we're going to look at is group and ungroup. So I have this design in front of me. It's a bunch of flowers and leaves. So the first thing I want to do is select all of these so that I can group them together. Now you can do that by holding down Shift and selecting each one individually, or you can head on over to the layers panel and you can select the first one and click on Shift and click the last one and they're all selected. Or alternatively, click on one of them, press Command or Control on the PC and just select individual ones that you want to group. So they're all selected now. I'm going to press Command G. And now that's grouped them all together. You can see there's a little drop down menu there and they're all grouped together. If I want to ungroup them, I can press Shift, Command and G. And now they are all ungrouped again. So why do I group them? Well, if I press Command G, now I can move them around as one whole item. And if I ungroup them, I can move them around individually again. So the next one we're going to look at is move layer to front and move layer to back. So if I choose this leaf here at the back, you can see it's behind a few other leaves. I can select Shift, Command, and the right bracket key to bring to the front, and the left bracket key, whilst holding Shift, Command, will bring it to the back. So if you want to move it individually, move layer forward one or move layer back one, you just press Command and right bracket key to bring it up individually. You can see it working its way up and down the layer stack in the layers panel. And for Windows, it would be Control, left and right bracket key. Okay, that's that. Let's put it at the back there. Okay, let's look at using move inside shortcut. So first of all, I will have to select an item. So say I've selected this skateboard here, this longboard skateboard. If you look in the layers panel, underneath that is the circle. So in the layer stack, the skateboard is above. So what I would do with this is I will carry out this shortcut. So it's Option, Command and G. And now that I've done that, you can see it's clipped the skateboard inside of the circle shape, and that's because it was above in the layer stack. And if I want to move it outside, this one's a bit of a long one, so it's Option, Shift, Command and G, and now it's moved back outside. So the next one is New Layer. So if I want to create a new layer here, I will click on Option, Command and N. Look at the Layers panel now. It's just added a new layer. This is for vectors. If you want to add a new pixel layer, then press Shift, Command and N. And you can see a new pixel layer has been added. Maybe if you want to go into Pixel Persona and do some painting with some raster brushes, you can do that. Okay, so let me just delete that. So the next one is Lock Layer. So let's say I don't want this skateboard to move around because I've got it perfectly centered. So I just click on Command L and that's locked it. If you look in the Layers panel, there's a little padlock next to it now. So if I try and move it around, nothing is happening. Only the background moved then. So if I want to unlock that, I'd simply click on it again and press Shift, Command and L, and that's unlocked it. Now, the next one is Unlock All. So let's say if I've locked quite a few objects in this artboard that we're using here. So I will lock that. So Command L, I'll lock that. I don't want the circle to move. I've locked 2 of them. And if you look in the Layers panel, both of them have padlock icon on them. Now, if I select my artboard here and I carry out this Unlock All, so I'll press Control, Command and L, you can see it's unlocked all of the layers that have been locked. So that's how that works. So the next one is Show All. So you'd obviously have to hide something before you show it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide these 2 items here. So the skateboard and the circle. So this little tick here, this means it's visible. If I untick them, that means they're now hidden. So if I want to show all of them, I'd click on the artboard I'm working on, and then I'd carry out the shortcut. So Control, Command and H. And you can see they're not hidden anymore. Okay, so the last one here, let's say if we've got this circle and I've just drawn it out using the ellipse tool and I want to go and play around with the nodes. I'd click on A for the node tool. There are no nodes here. And you're probably thinking, how can I manipulate this shape further? Well, as you've drawn it out, it's not a curve right now. It's a shape. It says ellipse. You'd click on Convert to Curves. Now you can do that up here. It says Convert to Curves. Or you can use this shortcut. So if I just press Command and Enter, that's now a curve. So if I switch over to the node tool, now you can see the nodes and you can start manipulating the shape however you want. Okay, we're now in the select category of shortcuts for this tutorial. And the first one we're going to look at is Select All. So how I do this, I'm going to select one of them. And I'm going to press Command A, and that's selected all of these characters here that I created. You can look underneath on the layers panel. I have locked some of the layers, so it hasn't selected those. So how do I deselect them? Well, it's Command D. So I've pressed that and they're no longer selected. So if I just choose one of them, let's choose Select Next. So that is Option, Command and right bracket key to go next, or previous is left bracket key. So if I just cycle through these, you can see on the layers panel as well, it's kind of cycling through. So it could be a quick way of getting to the next object. So the next one is Nudge Selection. And what that is basically you're moving it around with the arrow keys on your keyboard. This is for Mac and PC. So on the arrow keys, just click right or left. You can keep your finger on it if you want. And it's moving quite slowly here. So if we use the one below, Modified Nudge Selection, and it says hold down Shift and then click on the arrow keys. So you see now it's going along in, these are all pixels here, so it's going in 10 pixels at a time. Now if I want to change that modified nudge selection, I can do that and I'll show you. So I've just written down here, nudge distances are customizable via Affinity Designer Preferences tools. So we're going to do that now. So head on up to Affinity Designer, Preferences, and we'll go to Tools. And then you see down here, it says nudge selection is 1 pixel. That's just with the arrow keys. But if you're holding it down with the Shift key, it can be 10 pixels, and you can change that to whatever you want. And we are in the view category of the shortcuts tutorial. The first one we're going to be looking at is zooming in and out. So the shortcut for that is Command and the plus or minus key. So if I press Command and I press plus, it's going to zoom in. Each time I press it, it goes in further. And if I press minus whilst holding Command, it zooms out. So the next one is zoom to fit. So imagine we're quite far out in the document and we want to zoom in so it perfectly fits. I press Command and 0. So that's that one. Zoom to fit width. Now that is Option, Command and 0. So it's better to show you on a different size document, like a portrait one like this. So Option, Command and 0. You can see it's zoomed to fit the width of that document. The next one is zoom to selection. So I'm going to select this taxi down here and I'm going to click on Shift, Command and 0 and it will zoom just to that selection. There we go. It's all in frame now. That could save some time. Okay, the next one is zoom 100% to 800%. And you do that by holding your finger down on Command and then pressing 1, 2, 3 or 4. So let's try that out. So Command and 1, you can see up there it says 100%. If I press Command and 2, that's 200%. 3 is 400% and 4 is 800%. Okay, the next one is zoom to actual size. So if I just press Command 8, there it is. Okay, so the next one is zoom to pixel size. And if we press on Command 9, it will zoom to the pixel size. It's a 1920 by 1080 document. Okay, so the next one is reset rotation. And for me, for some reason, maybe it was my error, it wasn't filled in. The shortcut for this wasn't filled in. So I had to go up to View and then Reset Rotation. But you can see on other options, there are shortcuts there. And that wasn't there for me. So I'll show you how to go about filling that in. Head on up to Affinity Designer, go to Preferences, and then go to Keyboard Shortcuts. We are in Designer here, and View. We're in the View category. So if you just look down here, it says Reset Rotation. So we're going to fill in this box here. So I'll click on it, and Reset Rotation is Control, Shift, Command, and R. So click all of those. And you see it's filled it in for me there. I'll press close now and let's go up to View. And you can see now it's been filled out. Reset Rotation is there in the drop down menu. So let's try it out. So sometimes if you're designing, you might accidentally rotate the whole document like this. And maybe if that's happened to you, you might have taken a while Googling how do I reset that easily. Well, you can use this shortcut. So we'll do that now. Control, Shift, Command and R. And we're back in business. So the next one is Pixels View Mode. Obviously, I've told you the size of this document, 1920 by 1080. If you go up here to View Mode, these are all the buttons that you'd press if you didn't want to use the shortcut. So that's Pixel View Mode, Retina Pixel, and Outline View Mode. These are all the shortcuts that I'm going to show you below, so we'll just try them out. Okay, so the first one is Option, Command, and Y. So that's Pixel View Mode. So if I zoom in, you can see that's now pixelated. And if I zoom out and we take this off, you can see if I zoom in again now, you can see this is the vector version. On the right hand side, this is a raster version I put there just so you can see the difference when we go up to outline view mode. And let's move on to the next one. So the next one is Pixel Retina View Mode. So that one is another long-winded one. So it's Option, Shift, Command and Y. Now if I zoom in a bit, see it's not as pixelated. I have to zoom in a lot further to see the pixelation occurring. So I'll uncheck that. And the next one is Outline View Mode. So what you do for this one is just click on Command and Y and you see all of the paths of these vector objects. And you can see that the other skull has now disappeared because that is a raster image. There's no vectors in it whatsoever. Okay, so the next one is Split View Mode, and that is just the comma on the keyboard. So I'll click on that, and you can see there's this swipeable line here. On the left is vector, on the right is pixels. So if we just zoom into this skull here, you can see there's the pixels, and that's the vector. Quite handy. Okay, I'll click off of that. The next one is Show Guides. Now I do have one guide here hiding, but you can't really see it. So I'm going to go ahead and click Command and semicolon. And now you can see they're in view and you can move them around, etc. Or you can just dash them off to the side like that. Okay, so the next one is Show Grid. So that is command and apostrophe. So I'm going to click on that. Now we can see the grid. If you did want to change the grid, you could go up to View, Grid and Axis Manager, and you can change the type of grid you want there. So I'll just press that again, command and apostrophe to get rid of it. Let's continue on. The next one is show rulers. So these are the rulers on the side here. If you want to hide them, you just press command and R. So right now we're just hiding parts of the interface. So same again for show studio or hide studio. So that's Shift, Command and H. So you see our studio on the right hand side is now vanished. If I press the same shortcut again, it now appears again. By the way, all of these things can be done under here, under View. Okay, so the next one is show toolbar. So that's Option, Command and T. Now that's vanished. If you want more space to look around. And the last one is toggle UI, and that's just the tab button. And same for Windows and Mac. So let's go ahead and click that. So sometimes when I'm designing and I just want to see a little bit of a clearer view, so I'm not distracted so much, I just quickly press that and check it out, press it back, and we're back in business. And last one here is toggle full screen. And this one you can basically do by going up here and exiting full screen, or you can use this shortcut, which is Control, Command and F. And there we go. You can see my desktop behind, and I can maximize it again like that. Okay, let's move on. Clip to canvas. The shortcut for that is \. So in artboards, I'll just go and show you how it works. So this is an artboard here. If I dragged out one of these elements, you'll see I can have it on the outside of the artboard, and I can use it as a reference if I'm sort of copying something. But that's with an artboard. So if you're using a document that doesn't have an artboard, but you want to see what's outside of your canvas, this is what happens. You click and drag it out, and then you just can't see it anymore. So you can't declutter your workspace. So if you use the \/ command, well, shortcut, I've clicked it, and now you can see everything outside of it. You can drag things on and off of the artboard. Okay, we are now in the file category of this shortcuts tutorial. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is how to create a new document using the shortcut. So on a Mac, it's Command N. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And you can see it just automatically opens this up so I can set up a new document. Okay, let's go back. So the next one is new from clipboard. So let's say if you have a design like this, and let's say, oh, I'll choose just the wheel down here. If I press Command C, that's copied it. Now it's in my clipboard. Then I just use this new from clipboard shortcut. I'll press Option, Shift, Command, and N. You see it's created a new document based on what was on my clipboard. So now I can export that if I want. Okay, let's go back. I won't save that. The next one is open. So just Command and O. And that will allow me to open maybe another file that's on my desktop or in my documents folder. And the next one, which should be like the ultimate favorite of everyone, is so important, I'll stick a star next to it, is save. Command S, save. When you're designing, just press Command Save every now and then to save what you've done. Obviously save as if you haven't actually set it up already, but that is Command S. So I'll go ahead and click that now. That saved it. If I want to save it as a different kind of file, different name maybe, it's Shift, Command and S. And now it comes up and I can type something else. Maybe I have a different version of it, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so the next one is export. I want to export this file. So I'm going to click on Option, Shift, Command and S, and it's brought up my export panel. I can choose to export it as different file types, etc. The next one is document setup. So that's Shift, Command, and P. And you can see I can set up my document in different ways. Maybe I want to change it to CMYK or change the dimensions. And then we've got print, which is Command P. So let's go ahead and click that. And it's brought up the print panel. We are now in the action category of the shortcuts tutorial. And the first one we're going to be looking at is constrain movement of object along an axis. For this example, we're going to use the bike I designed a while back. It's a Honda. And basically, if I try and drag that in a straight line, I'm not going to be that successful. So if you hold down Shift and click and drag, see there's this yellow line and that kind of keeps it in a straight line. You can also drag it down so it can kind of go in that direction or vertically. So that could be quite useful when spacing things out. The next one is select multiple objects. Again, you'd hold down Shift while something is selected, and you can start selecting other objects, and then you can move them around together like that. Okay, so the next one is, I guess, more about spacing and things like that. So let's say we've got this square, and I want to snap them together. I'd go up and turn snapping on, and then I could just snap them to each other like this. But sometimes you might have a shape that's not an exact square. So let's squish this or skew this to the side a little bit. And now let's try and snap that edge in. It's not really happening, is it? If I wanted that to snap there, it's kind of snapping to the nodes, but basically our bounding box is changed to this shape. So what I would do, I'd go up to cycle selection box, but today we're actually using shortcuts. So what that is a full stop or a period, as you say in the US. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see now, you can see the regular bounds of this shape. And now I can click and snap that to the box. So it can be quite useful if you're like copying and pasting them. See, once you click off of it, the bounding box goes. So you have to click on the full stop again, and then it's back up. Okay, there we go, that's that. So let's get rid of a couple of these. So the next one is change opacity, and we know we can do that from up here. And the color tab, we can drag this down, or also we can do it in the layer. So you can grab the opacity and drag that down as well. So this is just by using numerical keys. So let's try that. So if I press on 1, that's changed to 10% in the layers opacity. And if I click on 6, that's 60%, 8, 80%. Also, if you press them very quickly, so say I press 47, it will fill it out. That's 47%, and then just 10%. There we go. So on and on. Much easier way of doing it if you remember to do them. Like, I don't always use shortcuts. Sometimes I will just go up and click an icon if it's there. But it's just good to know and maybe try and train yourself, because things can get a lot quicker. Continuing on with the action shortcuts, let's use the switch between stroke and fill shortcut. So that one is X for both Windows and Mac. Here's a circle I made earlier. And if I just go ahead and select it, you see it's got a pink stroke and a blue fill. If you look up here in the colors tab, that's what it's set to. If I press X, it kind of switches between them. And the only reason I would use this shortcut here is, let's say I want to change the stroke color. I can just move it around, and I want to quickly change the fill color. I can just press X and it switches around, and I can just do that. Instead of me manually going over, clicking, changing the color, clicking on that, it can be sped up by literally just switching between them with the X. Okay, moving on to the next one. Swap stroke and fill color selectors. And that one is Shift and X. So let's do that. Shift and X is basically switching between those colors. So the stroke color becomes the fill color and vice versa. Next one is set stroke and fill to black and white. So that's just press D on the keyboard, press that, it's all turned to black and white, and you can do the Shift X, see what it looks like. Kind of cool. Okay, the next one is toggle snapping. So snapping is up there, it's already turned on. So if I press the semicolon, it turns it off. Click it once, click it off. Usually I just go up there and click it, but I never really remember this one for some reason. But there it is. The next one is decrease and increase brush size. So let's go ahead and grab our vector brush tool. Let's give it a color. Give it like white color. Okay, so there's the size. And if I increase it with the bracket keys, right bracket key to increase, left one to minimize that. And let me just draw something. There we go. That's it. To set no fill or stroke, there is a shortcut for that, and that is / on the keyboard. Now, if I choose this item here, you see fill is on top there. If I press / it'll get rid of the fill. If we switch to the stroke using our other shortcut, X, and then we want to get rid of that, we press / again. And then you can choose different colors. I just wanted to jump in and say a massive thank you to everybody who's watching this video right now, but especially to those of you who subscribe to my channel. It really pushes me to create more content, and don't be afraid to use that comment section below. You can ask me questions, tell me when I've done something wrong, or even ask for new kinds of tutorials. I'm always reading them. I try to respond to every single one. So a big thank you to everybody that's doing that. Also, I had my first super thanks the other day, so whoever you are, I really appreciate you. And that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments section and do the usual things. Cheers.